Hey ladies, today is Sunday, August 29th, 2021. Really quick update. I am 22 weeks and 5 days pregnant today. And so chugging along. Time is moving so quickly. And so on Friday, the 27th, I got my second COVID shot, Pfizer. Um, And let me tell you, did I experience any side effects? Well, um, my first shot, I barely felt. I felt this one a little bit more. I don't know. I had a different person doing it though, so that may be why. Um, my arm was really sore that night, even more so the next day. It was really, really sore the next day. And sorry, and wobbly here. And I mean, I guess that's really it. Well, no, that's not true. I did have body aches. So I got the shot on Friday. That night, Friday night, my arm was hurting so much, even trying to sleep. But I didn't take any medication or Tylenol for it. So I think, I just dealt with it. I was also having that pelvic pain I've been telling you about. So it was a bad night. I barely slept. The next day, when I woke up, I was super achy, body aches, and my arm was just really sore still. Um, and I honestly planned to spend the whole day in bed. When I woke up and I felt the way I felt, I was like, oh gosh, no, thank God it's Saturday. Or spend as much of the time in bed as I could because I do have a 2 year old. So that changes things. um, and then, but I really wanted to take her outside. She hasn't been outside to the park or anything in a little while. And we're really cautious about COVID for her because, she's two, she's completely unprotected. You know, the new variant and the new variants that will come seem to affect children a lot. And I know that pediatric COVID cases are like really on the rise. And so I do worry about her and her exposure. And people hadn't been talking about kids. They just acted as if kids were immune to it. Little kids, I don't know why. And now you hear about children 2 and younger in the hospital on respirators because of they have COVID. And it's just like, yeah, guys, like you're sending your children everywhere and not thinking about the fact that this is still out there affecting them. The little ones, I mean, if you want to get your 12-year-old and older vaccinated, that's fine. But the ones who are younger than that are completely exposed. And so, but there's this tension, right? Because life has to go on. So I don't know. But anyway, so she goes out. We take her out occasionally, but usually when she goes out, she just goes out in the yard and plays. So for this, we took her to the park, and she's never been to a playground. So no, she's two. She just turned two in July, and she's never been to the playground. And we took her to the playground, and I was so hesitant to do it because I'm like, oh my gosh, all the kids that usually are there. Now, thankfully, no one was there. We would not have gone if anyone was in there. But we live next to like this big park area that has 3 separate playgrounds, and they were all empty because it wasn't a sunny day. It was like overcast, but it did not rain. But it seemed as though it was going to rain. So I think people weren't really out there, and so it was completely empty, which was great. But still, the fact that kids had been touching it and stuff. I know, maybe I'm just overly paranoid. So We put her on a slide. So she had never been on a slide, but she's talked about them. She's seen them. She knows what a playground is. Matter of fact, as we were approaching the playground, she's like, playground, there's parks and playgrounds, like this big area. And so she's like, playground. And so I would have been content just walking around the park and looking at the squirrels and the trees and people walking their dogs in the water and all of that and birds and ducks. But my husband we wanted to get her on this, because she does talk about playground at home. And so we put her on the slide and she was scared, of course. And she went down. We put her down twice down the slide. And and then we put her on a swing, and I'm like sanitizing her hands, putting sanitizer on her hands every time she gets up off of something. Don't touch anything, like grabbing her hands and trying to put sanitizer on them. I don't know, trying to figure out, maybe that's, I don't know. I have this like big thing of sanitizer in my purse, and I'm just like, pumping sanitizer, putting it on her hands, and then we put her on a swing and pumping sanitizer, putting it on her hands. Well, and she was, of course, afraid of the swing, even though, in theory it sounds good. But I guess when you're on it and you're two and you've never been on anything like that, that motion is just like. So anyway, so yeah, that was the experience, and I didn't think I'd be up for going, but I wanted to go because I did not want to miss out on going out with her, and I wanted to be there. So I did go, and it was fine, just tired a little bit, but I think that was from the lack of sleep. I will say I also woke up very nauseous on Saturday morning and got nauseous again towards Saturday evening. And I did notice that when I got the first COVID shot, I was pretty, like, that evening, I got really, really nauseous to the point that I started vomiting again and all of that, which hadn't happened in a few weeks. So yeah, I don't know if there's a correlation because I hadn't really been getting this nausea like that, but there was no vomiting. So maybe it's not. And if that's the worst of it, then it's not that bad. Other than the body aches, which today I don't feel. So it's 2 days since I had the second shot, and I don't feel as much of the body aches. I'll let you know if anything else comes of it. I think maybe it's done and I won't have any more side effects from it. I don't know. But I will keep you posted and let you know. And so again, this is just my experience. Everyone's experience is going to be their own. And I understand caution and, being hesitant to get it if you're pregnant, even if you're not pregnant, but especially if you are pregnant. But I started to think, God forbid I have some sort of complication or something and I need to go to the hospital prior to delivery or something like that. And I would have hated to have been in a hospital without having a vaccine. I just wouldn't have, I just started to think being pregnant puts me at so many different higher risk. But I just was like, if something happens and I need to go, any or someone else in my household, if there's an emergency, and I wanted to. So that was really I started thinking about that and the dangers, and there's a lot of unknown with the vaccine as far as, listen, now you got to get a third shot in 8 months roughly. And I know they're saying for immunocompromised people, but they also have that, like, I think after 8 months, the effectiveness of it, 6 to 8 months, the effectiveness of the Pfizer one, I know, maybe even the Modernas and some of the others, but the effectiveness starts to decrease, which is why they're suggesting that third shot. And I mean, let's be honest, like 6 to 8 months after the third shot, you might have to get a fourth shot, and who knows, we're not there yet, but I know that, and so on, that's a possibility that we'll continually have to get them. But I just didn't want to be out there without any coverage if God forbid something happens, especially in my current condition. And so that's me. But definitely, I think it's a personal decision, and you shouldn't be forced or harassed or coerced or threatened or bribed to do it. So you got to do it and feel good about it if you do it, because honestly, it's you have to live with it. So especially being pregnant, I'm making this decision for two people, me and this baby, because hopefully, best case scenario, it'll have some antibodies for me getting this, and it'll have more protection from COVID. Um, something, because maybe the baby will make its own antibodies. Um, you know, and so we'll just look at that and hopefully hope that's the case and that everything else will work out. All right, ladies. I just wanted to give you an update since I got the second shot and tell you how things were going. And I hope all is well with all of you. And I will talk to you soon.